Welcome back. So the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry probing claims of corruption in the South African Police Service will sit from the 1st of September, and it will do so in Pretoria. President Cyril Ramaphosa established the inquiry. This is after claims made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Madlanga Commission. In July, Mkhwanazi made explosive allegations linking Police Minister Senzo Mchunu to known criminal syndicates. Ramaphosa has since placed Mchunu on special leave and appointed Professor Feroz Kachalia as acting police minister. Well, we continue with reaction to those developments, and for that we're joined by Advocate Paul Hoffman from Accountability Now. The organization, of course, has previously questioned the timeline of the Commission and certainly the priorities that need to be set by the Commission. Advocate, a good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. So the 1st of September, we kick off. I don't know if you have any issues that you want to raise there around the time frames. I immediately, top of mind, start to think about concerns that this is not going to be a 6-month process and, in fact, could take us a lot longer.
Yes, I must agree with you, Naledi, and thank you for the invitation. Good afternoon to your viewers. The timetable imagines that a preliminary report will come at the end of October and a final report 3 months after the end of October. So they should be winding up their work at the end of this year, which I don't think is feasible, depending on the interpretation that the Commission gives to its mandate and the terms of reference that it has been given. It is possible that the Commission will decide that it's not going to get involved in the nitty-gritty of hundreds of dockets and who did what to who in the detail of General Mkhwanazi's complaints that sparked the appointment of this commission. It may be that the commission will construe its mandate in a way that enables it to look at the systemic and operational aspects of the matter. So it's the structure of the criminal justice administration and the operations of the criminal justice administration that have led to the appointment of the commission. And there is plenty of work to be done, because as long ago as 2011, the Constitutional Court ordered Parliament to amend legislation that had been passed, bringing the Hawks onto the statute book, in order to create a body outside executive control to deal effectively with corruption. Now, behind the complaints of Mkhwanazi is definitely a great deal of corruption. Political killings are motivated by corruption, and corruption is just a manifestation of greed in politics in South Africa, politics and business, actually. So if the Commission sees it that way, then it may simply make recommendations for the reform of the criminal justice administration to bring it into line with the binding decisions that the Constitutional Court first made in 2011 and then confirmed in 2014.
Yeah, I do actually want to just go back to the earlier point, and I think we'll get back to the external sort of structure that needs to be in place to look at graft in the executive and government structures. But if we just sit with what you're saying, could possibly be a few months of operational level sort of exchanges, would that certainly go deep enough? You say we're likely not to see the Commission of Inquiry looking at hundreds and hundreds of dockets, but considering just how very high profile some of those dockets could be, would it be extensive enough of a job if we're able to talk just at operational level and systems building without actually looking at just how deep the rot goes?
Yes, I think that is the first decision that the Commission will take, as to whether it is going to get into the nitty-gritty of each and every complaint. Remember, 121 dockets were taken away from the police in KZN and placed on the table of Shadrach Sibiya in Pretoria. And if there was justification for that, then there will be an argument between Mkhwanazi and Sibiya and perhaps Mchunu as well, as to whether or not that was an appropriate way of dealing with those dockets. And you can't find out whether it's appropriate or not without having some insight into what the case is about. And I would suggest that political killings are a manifestation of corruption, and had the order of the Constitutional Court of March 2011 been implemented by government, then the Minister Mchunu, would have had absolutely nothing to do with the dockets and indeed with the chain of command in respect of the investigation of the corruption-related allegations in those dockets. It would have been dealt with by a body outside cabinet control. And that means that there is a possible shortcut if the commission decides that it is going to look at structural rather than plain operational issues.
Yeah. Some of the criticism that we've seen with previous commissions of inquiry has been the costs associated, right? You hear over and over again 1 billion rand spent on the Zondo Commission, for instance. Today we heard the spokesperson for this commission, Jeremy Michaels, talking about how they are relieved that the commission will take place and be based in Pretoria, and they will not be paying for the venue. I think we need to talk about those operational issues that we're hearing. If you're confident that from a cost-saving point of view that we're going to be seeing some relief, you know, we've got the Department of Justice saying that they're going to assist with procuring the whatever it is that's required by the commission. Any concerns where that is?
Yes, certainly cost is a consideration, but just remember, the Zondo Commission may have cost 1 million, but more than 10 billion, sorry, it cost a billion, more or less a billion, but more than 10 billion had been recovered from in the form of loot, of state capture that has been raked back by the authorities or surrendered by those foreign companies that were identified as consultants on the make and on the take. So those recoveries, which would never have happened had there not been a Zondo Commission, far outweigh the cost of the Zondo Commission itself. Now, clearly the venue hire was a consideration there, and that has been dealt with by using a government facility in Pretoria instead. But it seems that if we are looking to embark on a cost-cutting exercise, then it may be possible for the first report of the commission, which is due at the end of October, to concentrate on whether the system as it operates at the moment is the sort of system that the law requires, because I do not see any body that is outside executive control dealing with corruption. And that is what the ruling of the Constitutional Court in the Glenister litigation requires. And Justice Madlanga sat in the last of the Glenister cases. So it's not as though he's a stranger to the issues in that litigation.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the politics of the matter, right? Just briefly before I let you go. 6 months from now, and perhaps you say, but even perhaps by the end of the year, I think that's quite optimistic that we'd have some sort of a report coming out of this commission. But towards the end of next year, we're going into the 2026 local government elections. If you think that that is going to be a block in the roadworks, I mean, you've penned a piece where you talk about the relationship between, for instance, a particular party and organized crime syndicates, right? And what you expect that to be over the next year and a bit.
Yes, I know your colleague Karen Dolly at Daily Maverick has done a lot of work on the nexus between drug cartels and politics in South Africa. And certainly you can expect that in an election year, and even although it is only a local government election, a lot is going to turn on the trends that become discernible during the local government election. So I'm sure that it would be preferable to get the work of the commission done before electioneering in earnest begins. And the election will only come at the end of next year, or possibly even the beginning of 2027.
No. Advocate Paul Hoffman, an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Advocate Paul Hoffman, of course, is with Accountability Now.